Hey guys, what is going on? This is Pantsar Dragon, and today we'll be doing the top 5 best junglers for solo queue as of patch 6.19. Now we haven't done this for a while, actually. Have we? Yeah, we actually did this in patch 6.17, but I think you guys kinda want an update on what the jungle kinda looks like, so that's why we're gonna be doing this video. And also this video is sponsored by Pro Guides. Check them out for all your rank game needs. And if you want to ask a few league questions, you can also do that as well. And they also edited this video. But yeah, with all that being said, let's get started. So in the high elo jungler world, there actually is going to be a priority on what people want to pick. And this tier list will be based off kind of that instead of say my champion pool. And first off is going to be Elise. So Elise, you know, is a champion who basically hasn't been touched in such a long time, like patch notes wise and buffs or nerfs. And people are picking her, well, I'm picking her, usually when we have a lot of AD. Or when there's like 2 AD of course, but yeah, she's a jungle AP carry. She's kind of like not as good as Nidalee, but she still has that early game pressure and is definitely a really good champion in that early game. She also scales much better than Nidalee and like Lee Sin, as she does have hard CC, and Rylai's is definitely really good on her with her spiders and of course her abilities. So yeah, her mid game and late game potential is better than most junglers, but compared to tank junglers, she gets outscaled by them. Anyways, here's the recommended runes and masteries for her. And next up is gonna be Hecarim. Alright, you know me always hating on people who get nerfed. Yeah, I know what you're feeling. But it turns out the nerfs he received aren't so bad. I mean, I didn't see it was bad. I just saw win rate drop by a landslide. That shouldn't have happened, but it was probably a skewed representation or an inaccurate statistic because, well, he doesn't feel that much different to be honest. And also before the nerf happened, people were just rushing Cinderhulk instead of going Triforce. So that actually kind of makes sense because Triforce is so much better to rush on him than like any of the jungle items. So before that, people weren't rushing Triforce, now they are, and he has a massive power spike once he does obtain that Triforce. So yeah, basically before the nerf, people were getting Cinderhulk, now they're getting Triforce, which makes him stronger. Also, he is a jungle carry, so that's actually a pretty good thing for him. And he has a massive power spike when he gets that Triforce. And he can snowball very well if he gets a kill in the early game and wrecks a lot of people in the mid game. Now here is a recommended build for him. Alright, so the next champion people are picking over Hecarim is going to be Olaf. So pretty interesting stuff here. One thing that's recently being innovated is the skirmishers on Olaf. Basically making him run down people with a bunch of damage, a bunch of base damage, and just shit on them and 1v1 them. Before it was a Stalker's Blade Smite, which allowed, you know, him to chase people better, but now with Skirmisher's Saber, he can just basically kill them instead of trying to constantly throw axes at someone and hopefully having his team to help him run down on someone. Now he can just do that straight up if he wants to. Another reason why he's coming on the meta is because, well, champions are being nerfed, so he's more of a meta pick right now. And also his early game and mid game clears, they're super awesome. And he can get so fed in an early game just because he's really tanky. He has a lot of base damage and you can't run away from him if you have an overextended lane. And when it comes to the mid game, like I said, he likes to fuck everyone up. So yeah, he's a champion who can just shit on people, but I will say once it comes to the late game, he actually falls off a bit. His base damage starts to be not too super heavy. You can still 1v1 some people with skirmishers, but majority of times, I mean, you don't really have hard CC. The only thing you have is that permaslow coming from his Q, but you know, it starts to fall off. But yeah, early game and mid game, those are his strongest points, and he's just so obnoxious. I mean, if you have some kind of late game tank, it might be better. Or if you're in the late game, then your job is to basically run down people, and hopefully your team has some damage to follow up on your running down. But yeah, Olaf is a champion that a lot of people will prioritize at the moment. Anyways, here's a recommended build for him. And next up is gonna be Graves. Alright, so this champion scales super well into the late game. I mean, every time I play Elise into this guy, he just outscales her, and even if he has Stalker's Blade and she has skirmishers, he'll just straight up win. Although he has to have Ma. But yeah, I mean, this guy's early game clears are super awesome. You don't take any damage because of the kiting. And you have super mega burst. I mean, everyone knows that if you play Graves and you get ahead, you should be able to carry a game. Whether it be the armor penetration build or the little crit build, you are a jungle carry, and he scales so well into the late game. I mean, he gets so much magic resistant armor coming from his E, and yeah, he's just like a AD carry bruiser type of champion who scales really good into the late game. And he's almost a permaban in high elo. If not, then he will be picked up by someone, 100%. Anyways, here's a recommended build for him. And now finally coming at number 1 is gonna be Nidalee. So I don't think I really talked about her and the changes she had, but basically those changes didn't matter. Well, actually in 6.15 they buffed her early game and made it so when you land your Q it's more rewarding to use your other Q, aka more damage. And yeah, I mean her clears are still the best because she can hop over walls with her W and gets more movement speed going through bushes and also against hunted targets. So yeah, people pick her because of super fast clears, her early game is super phenomenal, she can snowball out of control, and I always see that whenever the other jungler is like level 9, she's always level 11, just because her clears get better at level 6 and also she does have the runic echoes. And yeah, in high elo she's either perma picked or perma banned. She does fall off in the late game though, so make sure you don't get to the late game. Make sure you don't get past 30 minutes, and make sure you're always on top of the enemy jungle. If not, you'll fall off so hard that you're basically going to be useless in team fights. Now, I permaban her because I can't play her in high elo, so I usually try to avoid her, and that's why you never see me playing her. Cause you know she is reliant on landing her Q, and that's a skill shot, and it's too small for me to hit. But yeah, anyways, here is the recommended build for her. And finally, we're going to be doing some honorable mentions, and first up is going to be Zach, who would be in the top 5, but a lot of other people do prioritize the like super OP picks and the carry picks, so that's why you don't really see him in the top 5, but he's actually going to be in my personal top 5 since he is really easy to play and he scales so well in the mid game and late game, and he also is an initiator, is really tanky, probably the best tank jungler you can have at the moment, so I do recommend him if you want to play a tank jungler who scales really well into the late game. Oh yeah, and the mid game. Anyways, here's a recommended build for him. Now we're going to be doing some honorable mentions, and first up is going to be Rek'Sai. So this champion is kind of unique right now. I mean, people still play her and she has received some nerfs, but on the offside, if people feel like playing her and being kind of a carry, I actually have not played her in this patch because, you know, you know me, I don't feel good about nerfed champions, and I just immediately ditch them once they're nerfed. So yeah, I mean, she did get the Jarvan treatment where she loses some armor and her clears are, well, a little less healthier, and also her ultimate's cooldown went up, so they were actually big nerfs, to be honest. Her win rate actually changed quite a bit, but that don't stop her. That definitely didn't stop her, and yeah, some people like the player, although I don't, and some of the other people would rather pick Olaf, which is true because he didn't get nerfed yet. But yeah, she's alright right now. But anyways, here's a recommended build for her. Next up is going to be Lee Sin. So Lee Sin got a buff where his spell vamp and lifesteal coming from his W, the second W, has increased by 5% and also, you know, 5% at all ranks. But basically what this does is makes his early game clears a little bit more healthier. So to me, that's actually really good. You come out of the jungle with like maybe 1 or 2 refillable potions and you're good to go. And yeah, I mean, meta junglers being nerfed also makes him come back into the meta a little bit, but he is still a niche pick for some players. If you're good at him, then play him, but if you're not, don't play him. Anyways, here's a recommended build for him. And the last champion we're gonna have is gonna be Kha'Zix. This champion, oh man, this is a good champion to play at the moment if you know how to play him. Otherwise, don't play him. He scales so good into the late game and is a really good cleanup tool for the mid game and can definitely pick off people if they're alone, and is just all around a beast right now. So Riot's been slowly buffing him to the point where he's actually a good champion to pick in this meta right now. So yeah, I mean, if I were like a Kha'Zix one trick, it'd be my life to play him right now. But fortunately, there are other champions to play that aren't him, so I'm in a good spot. Now anyways, here is a recommended build for him. And yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did like this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you didn't, make sure to subscribe. Anyways, I am Dragon, and I'll see you guys next time.